Wow, the WBC now embracing a fight between Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder and Dillian Whyte. We're going to talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. Cash App, $Boxingego. Now, Mauricio Sulaiman does it again, and he's now entertaining the thought of a Dillian Whyte and Deontay Wilder fight. Yes, you heard it right. Dillian Whyte versus Deontay Wilder in the final eliminator. He says, yes, absolutely yes. I like the idea. Of course, the rankings are by merit. We'll see what happens March 27th. If Dillian Whyte wins, he becomes the interim champion. He would be in a very privileged position, and it's just a good time for boxing. So that's a quote that Mauricio Sulaiman said to Sky Sports. Eddie Hearn also said he likes the fight. So once again, the WBC at it again with some more BS. You see, the WBC continues to try to pick out favorites and eliminate certain people from the contest and manufacture results in boxing. Why would Deontay Wilder, who has a contract with Tyson Fury and he's currently in an arbitration/mediation process, why would he have to now go through Dillian Whyte to become a champion to Tyson Fury instead of just doing what's right and Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury close their saga with the proper trilogy which Tyson Fury owes Deontay Wilder? It's becoming more and more apparent that boxing is playing the game. You continually see the quote-unquote black murderers row in boxing where these games are played. Vasyl Lomachenko, he fights for a vacant title with Luke Campbell, and Devin Haney is his mandatory. You have a black American fighter, Devin Haney, his mandatory, and conveniently, Lomachenko becomes a franchise champion instead of facing that black American fighter, Devin Haney. You had Canelo Alvarez, maybe the previous year before, Devin Haney was avoided by Lomachenko in the WBC. And Canelo Alvarez had a mandatory, another black American from Houston named Jermall Charlo. And Jermall Charlo was supposed to fight Canelo. He was supposed to fight Golovkin, got neither, and they protected Canelo with the witness protection belt, the franchise champion belt, and allowed him to continue his career unfazed, unscathed, without ever having to fight Jermall Charlo based on an order. Now, the same company, the same organization, the WBC, is saying a guy who just got brutally knocked out by a 40-year-old, and now he's rematching that 41-year-old, he's 41 now, who just had the Rona. If he wins, then they're up for Deontay Wilder versus Dillian Whyte. Really? I just don't understand it. You know, boxing is getting real fickle. Why does Wilder have to go through a gauntlet? Why can't he just get the Tyson Fury fight, especially when they were set up to do a trilogy to begin with? You know, the WBC over the last few years, they really shot themselves in the foot. They have really created a situation where there's no limit, Master P, to their bias, to the favoritism that they're showing. I don't think it's fair for Wilder to have to fight against Dillian Whyte, who just got knocked out, even if he avenges. But the WBC is trying to play it slick, and what they're trying to do is wait for the outcome, because there's a chance that Dillian Whyte could get stretched again by Alexander Povetkin. But it looks like they have their fingers crossed, hoping that Dillian Whyte will win and then can now play this buffer role in between Wilder and Tyson Fury to prevent Wilder from fighting Tyson Fury, which would free up and allow for Joshua versus Fury. And it looks like all systems are go. And it look to me, that's what it looks like the move is. They want Dillian Whyte to. This is the same thing Eddie Hearn tried. You know, Eddie Hearn, every time Joshua was called out by Deontay Wilder when they were both undefeated, even though Dillian Whyte had already been knocked out by Anthony Joshua, every single time that Wilder spoke out and was smoking out Joshua, you had Eddie Hearn trying to use Dillian Whyte as a guard dog, as a buffer. And then they had this whole campaign where they were saying, oh, we've been waiting 1,000 days. We've been waiting 1,600 days without a fight. But they lost all of that. They lost that opportunity when Alexander Povetkin knocked him out brutally in one of the knockouts of the year. It's either that fight was knockout of the year or Gervonta Davis over Leo Santa Cruz. I personally had Tank Davis over Leo Santa Cruz, but the Povetkin knockout was nasty as well, you know? And now they're trying to throw Dillian Whyte back in the mix should he win, as a way to block Wilder from Tyson Fury or meddling in a Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua fight. But luckily for Wilder and his team, they have certain contracts in place and arbitrations in place. So we have to see what the arbitrating judge rules. And if they rule in favor of, it's legally binding. So if they rule in favor of Deontay Wilder, then that's a legally binding situation for him. But it's just amazing that the WBC is so callous and confident to put this information out, that they're trying to get in the way of the fight and make for these other fights like Dillian Whyte versus Deontay Wilder. Who cares about that fight? You know, it'll be all right. But Wilder gave Fury an opportunity when Tyson Fury was overweight, obese, miserable, coming off a drug problem and a lengthy layoff. Wilder gave him an opportunity at the WBC belt because he couldn't get Anthony Joshua. So he extended that olive branch to Tyson Fury and rebirthed Tyson Fury's whole career by being a hot commodity in the sport of boxing. And he had knocked out pretty much everyone he had faced. He had some crazy knockouts, Luis Ortiz, Bermane Stiverne, etc. And Wilder was the hot American commodity, the first American heavyweight champion since, I believe, Shannon Briggs. And it was on and popping. So Deontay Wilder gave Tyson Fury an opportunity. And this is how Tyson Fury and his handlers and people involved in old media try to repay Wilder. They want anything but Tyson Fury, who has been accused of cheating in his last fight, to get another opportunity to Wilder. They don't want Wilder to get a fair one. They're trying to sick Dillian Whyte on him, and they're trying to skip over him to make the Joshua Fury fight. This is all laughable, and what the WBC is doing is also laughable. They're trying to make final eliminators and publicly saying they like Wilder Whyte when Wilder's in arbitration to try to go straight at Tyson Fury. So we'll see how it all plays out. This is not cool from the WBC, in my opinion. I think it looks real weak. I don't think people care about Wilder Whyte at the moment, outside a few British teeth, you know, and that's about it. So Wilder needs the Tyson Fury fight. And the funny thing is, you have Tyson Fury fans who continue to say that Wilder will get whooped in the third fight easy, and he got his arse whooped and all this stuff. But it's those same people who are boldly saying this that are also the ones who are saying they don't want Wilder, just skip over him. We don't want Wilder. They say he's not a threat, but then they also don't want Wilder to get a third shot at Tyson Fury. And now it looks like the WBC is trying to sick Dillian Whyte on Wilder to get in the way of Wilder, especially since Wilder hasn't returned Mauricio Sulaiman's calls and stuff like that. We heard of some previous friction. Wilder wasn't really dealing with the WBC, so now it looks like they're trying to snake him out of the opportunity. Sad. Let me know what you guys think. We working.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego. the future of boxing.